Hi friends, my name's Sophie and today we're stretching the lower body. We're going to get into the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves, the toes. We're going to get all of it because I do hear from a lot of people that these stretches that we're going to go do today in particular have really helped them feel lighter and just better in their body overall. And so I want you to be able to have the tools to feel that way every day because you deserve to feel great every single day in your body. So 2 blocks come in handy. If you don't have them, get some because if you want to do yoga regularly, if you want to stretch regularly, blocks are so great. Such good, valuable tools to have. If you don't have them, you can do the class today without them, but I definitely recommend in the future grabbing them. All right, so we are going to start with the blocks just to the side. Tuck your toes and sit in this position in Virasana. Some of you will be fine here. Some of you might need a little help. Take a block, you could sit on it, and it takes the pressure off of the toes. There's still a little pressure, but it takes more of the pressure off. Another option is you could put your hands on the ground and just sit back on your heels. So all we're doing is stretching out the toes right now. And another option here, if you want to go a little further, you can put your fingertips down on the ground and you can lift your knees up and drop your heels down, and you'll be stretching the lower calf, the soleus, and you'll be stretching into the Achilles tendon. Now, the tendon doesn't necessarily stretch as the same way that muscles do, but it's still good to do your best to lengthen out in all of those surrounding areas. Now come back down onto your knees. Grab your blocks if you have them. If you don't have them, you can just put your hands on the ground. And we'll step the right foot between the hands or between the blocks. Make sure your back leg is nice and far back behind you. If your knee is up here, it's not going to feel good for several different reasons. So please make sure your leg is far back. You can untuck your toes here and take a moment to wiggle side to side into your hips. Now, a lot of times when I teach these poses, people say to me, why don't I do this every day? I should really do this every day. So here you go. You have the tools now to do it every single day. What we'll do now is straighten out the right leg. Maybe slide the heel forward a bit. And stay here with your spine nice and long. Or walk your fingertips, or walk your hands forward or your fingertips forward if your hands are on the ground. And fold. And you can kind of wiggle your hips side to side. In other words, your right foot is going to tick-tock side to side. This is half splits. Option to take the blocks over to the right side of your right foot for a little bit more of a stretch. Good. Now put your blocks to frame your right foot. Bend your right knee and lift your back knee up off the ground. Shift forwards and backwards a couple times here. Good. Now straighten your right leg. Your blocks can be on whatever height feels right for you here. Whether it's the highest or the middle. I like the middle for my body. Maybe walk the hands forward and you can fold more over your leg. Pin the right hip back and spread wide the toes and press down into your right big toe mound. Good. Now bend your right knee. Now you're going to move your right foot over to the right side and put the blocks inside of the right foot. This is lizard lunge. Take a moment with your back knee lifted to move forwards and backwards. So we're kind of like prepping the hips. Getting into the hips. You can move side to side. This is one of my favorite poses. Set your back knee down onto the ground. Good. Untuck your toes. Now you might not need your blocks for this. You can put your left hand just palm on the ground and put your right hand inside of your right thigh and push it away from you. It's almost like you're kind of leaning back and away from your right leg. You can let the inside of and the bottom of your right foot lift a little. So it's like you're rolling onto the outer edge of your right foot, just a tiny bit. Good. You can stay here, or maybe you bend the back knee and grab a hold of your what foot is this? Your left foot with your right hand. If that's not happening, it's no big deal. This might not happen right away for you if you don't stretch very often, and eventually you'll be here. If you need support under your knees, if the ground is too hard, put a blanket. Always support yourself so you're comfortable. And then when you're ready, let's release down to the ground into lizard again. And we'll just step our foot back into table. Grab your blocks again if you have them. If not, hands are on the ground. Step your left foot between your hands. Nice lunge. Slide your right leg back. Again, you don't want your knee up here underneath the hip. There's not many benefits that come from being there. If you slide it far back enough, you'll get stretch in several different places, and it will feel better on your right knee. If you can untuck your back toes, do so, because when the back toes are untucked, you can press down into your top foot, and that creates leverage and stability through the right leg. You can feel the difference there when you push down. And then put your blocks inside of your left foot here. Oh, I'm sorry, keep your blocks framing your foot. We're going to straighten out your left leg. I got ahead of myself for a sec. Yeah, straighten out the left leg. And then walk your blocks forward. You can stay there, or maybe you can round. And then maybe start to tick-tock your left foot and the whole leg kind of side to side so that reverberates up to the hips and the hips move side to side. Sorry, I think I just exhaled directly into the microphone. Hopefully that wasn't annoying or loud. Good. Now maybe bring the blocks to the left side. Good, and then bring your blocks back to frame your left foot. Nice. And then re-bend your left knee. And lift your back knee up and straighten out your left leg. So it's like a modified pyramid is what this is. And then again, you can walk the hands forward and fold over left leg. If a folding feels like too much, just stay upright. Spread the toes and press down into your left foot. All right, let's bend the left knee back into lunge, and then slide the left foot over to, oh, actually before you slide it, we're gonna move forwards and backwards here a few times. All right, and then we slide the foot over to the left and we do the same and move forwards and backwards. And then set your back knee down on the ground and move your right block over to the right, or move your blocks out of the way, plant your right hand, and put your left hand inside of your left thigh, untuck your back toes, and push your left knee away from you, almost like you're leaning back. You can stay, or maybe you grab the back foot. Stretching into the quads. You have 4 quadricep muscles, and they're very long muscles, so it's an intense stretch. Take an inhale, and exhale, release the foot, put the hands down. All right, and from there, step back into table. Come down onto your belly. Now keep your left hand, well, come onto your forearms and bend your right knee and take your right arm around and grab onto the foot and pull the foot in towards you. Now, maybe you grab onto the outer edge of the foot, or maybe you grab onto the inner edge. It's kind of just up to you. I just want you to get a little hip stretch for a second here. Or not a hip, but a quad stretch. I've been teaching a lot this week, so my words are getting a little jumbled and my sequence is getting a little jumbled, but I wouldn't have it any other way. My clients, my students are used to this. And then release your right foot. And then bend your left knee, grab your left foot. A little quad stretch. And release your foot, come back onto your forearms. Now place your hands on the ground, come up into tabletop, and come into downward facing dog. Your hips lift up and back. Paddle out your heels. Lift your heels high, lower them down. Let your head hang. Good, and then walk your feet up to your hands, front of the mat. Grab your blocks if you have them and lift up halfway. And step your left foot back behind you into low lunge with your back knee lifted. Now take your left foot, move it over to the right side off of the mat, and then you'll straighten your legs. And many of you might have to take the blocks on the highest height. Your legs are straight, there's a crisscross going on here, and you're folding over your right leg. And it might feel really intense. We're getting into the IT band and the outer calf muscle, and the lateral hamstring a little bit. We have 3 hamstring muscles. And the IT band is another one of those bands of the body that doesn't stretch the same way as the muscle, but sure does feel really good to get that lengthened out. Kind of similar to the Achilles tendon. Good. And then we'll come into standing split. So you lift your leg up to the sky, you fold over your right leg, and you breathe for 3, 2, 1. You step back into low lunge. You put your back knee down on the ground and reach the arms up. Bring the hands together. Interlace the hands. Make an L shape with your fingers. And take a side bend to the right, reach. Come back up to center, inhale, exhale, release your hands to the ground, to the blocks, or the ground, and lift your back knee. Good. Move the blocks to the sides, step back to down dog. Beautiful. Now walk your feet up to your hands, the front of the mat. Grab the blocks again, lift up halfway. And step your right foot back behind you. Good. Now we're going to take the right foot over to the left side and straighten both legs. Same thing that we did on the other side. Notice which side feels tighter. Nice long breaths. And then bring your right foot up into standing split, right leg up. For 3, 2, 1. Step back into low lunge. Put your back knee down and reach your arms up to the sky. Interlace your hands and lift up and take a side bend to the left. And reach your arms up, inhale, exhale, release your hands down. Move the blocks out of the way, lift your back knee and step back into down dog. Good, set your knees down on the ground. And come into a crisscross position with your legs. Now, the way we normally crisscross our legs is we kind of bring our ankles in really tight and our feet are underneath of our legs. I want you to loosen that up a little bit, like unravel your legs a bit so that it's kind of like an awkward crisscross position. Your right leg is further, or your top leg is further out in front. Doesn't matter which one's on top, we're gonna do both. So then once you have that, then you're gonna walk your hands down as far as you can go and let your head hang heavy. Maybe even use rock a little side to side here. And you'll feel it in your outer hip of the leg that's on top. I'm getting into the glutes and the piriformis. Slowly bring yourself back up. We will switch the cross of the legs. This is sort of like a modified version of double pigeon, if you know it. And then we'll sit tall, and then we'll crawl the hands forward and let your body drape over your legs. Notice if there's a difference between the sides. Just observe that. And slowly rise up. Last stretch we're going to do is a fold, seated forward fold. So if this feels difficult to sit up tall with your legs straight out, I recommend getting a little bit of height. So you can even just take your mat and sit on your mat. Just a little bit of height really goes a long way. No pun intended. Bend your knees a little bit and reach for the outside edges of the feet. Lengthen your spine, pull your heart through the frame of your shoulders, and then fold over your right leg, or over both legs. Not your right legs. Unless you have two right legs, then you can do that. And then start to straighten out your legs. If you can. If not, then stay where you are. But from there, yeah, you can go into a straighter leg position. And lean into whatever sensations come up. I know this can be a little uncomfortable. I'm going to take 3 more breaths. From there, let's slowly rise on up. Good. All right, so I hope that your legs feel nice and loose and you're ready to take on the day or take on the night. Thank you for being here. Go ahead and feel free to go ahead and check out any of the other videos and practices on my channel. Plenty of other stuff, and the list is just growing, the library is growing. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and comment. I really, really appreciate your support, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or evening. Thank you so much.